Davenport Coaches Show come to you live from Uccello's in Caledonia on a cold, wintry, and slippery, slidey type of evening here in West Michigan. Hi, everyone. I'm Rick Berkey. Alongside, to start with, the head basketball coach on the men's side, Bert Paddock, joins us here tonight. We'll talk Lou. One of his top players will join us as well. Coach Shonda Sanders was hoping to join us, but the weather took her out of commission for the night, so she'll be back with us very soon, I'm sure, as well. But, Coach, let's reflect back. Last week, last Thursday, boy, I tell you what, you got a hard-earned and well-deserved win at home against Wayne State, 67-60. Held Wayne State to 15% shooting in three-point land. That was a big factor.
I thought our kids did well. Rick, you and I have talked about this for the last couple of weeks. We're trying to find exactly what our team, what our identity is. And I think that, every team that we've had here that's been a quality basketball team has been a really good defensive team. And I've really felt like the last 2 or 3 games that we've done a really good job on the defensive end. We've forced more turnovers. We've rebounded the ball a little bit better. We're holding our opponents to like bottom 3 in three-point field goal percentage. I think we're actually leading the league in field goal percentage defense. And so feeling really good about where our kids are that way. And when you can hold teams to 59 and 60 points like we have the last 2 games, you're going to give yourself a chance to win.
Last week on this very show, I asked you, who's making that next step in the season? You right away didn't hesitate. Miles Ballou, he had another solid game, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and he now leads the team in assists, steals, and rebounds. And I meant to check the minutes. I think he's close to leading in minutes, too.
Yeah, you know what? We expect a lot from him. We told him when he got here, when he transferred, he had been at Saginaw Valley prior to coming here and was a big-time scorer, averaged over 20 points a game. And, it's always fine if you score a bunch of points, but we needed him to do other things for us, especially when Yak went down with his ankle injury. We just needed him to be able to contribute in other ways, not just scoring the ball. And, man, he's really done a good job here. Like I said, the last couple of games in the conference, he's averaged 8.5 rebounds a game. He had 3 assists in the game before last, 4 the one before that. And so he's doing a lot of different things that help contribute to us winning games.
In that win over Wayne State, Javon Tucker was a plus 14 coach, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and he's really applied a spark to this team. Yeah,
he's such a good athlete. He's an awesome kid. He's working really hard. I told you a couple games back in our pregame talk. He's been in the gym about an hour before practice starts at 6:30, 7 o'clock every day, getting up extra shots. He doesn't shoot a ton for us, but boy, he's really working at his game and his craft. I feel like that extra work is really paying off. It's making him feel a lot more comfortable. You go back to some of the last couple games, his ball pressure, his ability to keep the ball in front of him and yet put a lot of pressure on it has been huge for our defense and a lot to let the other team get into their offense. And on the offensive side for us, he's created a lot of opportunities for his teammates. He's been able to get by guys, come to 2 feet, be under control, not turn the ball over, and really create opportunities for some of our better shooters to get good shots.
He was plus 14 in the game last week, and our knowledgeable listeners and viewers know what that means. That means when he was in the minutes on his team scored 14 more points than when he was not on the floor. I wanted to ask you about the plus-minus stat, Coach, because different coaches put different emphasis on that. Where do you stand on the plus-minus as far?
I believe in it a lot. We've actually been talking about that a lot more here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And in fact, not because anybody else did anything wrong, but because his plus-minus was so good the last couple weeks. That's actually the reason why he got an opportunity to start. That's the honest truth. We've not even discussed this. Rick is just sitting here and you brought that up, but that's the honest truth. His plus-minus he was right around 0 or plus a couple or minus a couple. And in the situation we had been in prior to the last couple weeks, that was really good. And so we wanted to make sure we were putting guys out there that were contributing to us trying to win games. And he was just doing so many things at both ends of the floor, which showed in the stats, which showed in the plus-minus. And ever since then, his energy level's just been so much higher since he starting the games. It's unfortunate because you can't start 14 guys, and I know it's always great when you do, but it's really given him and Jaden a huge lift for us. They've been working really hard, and they've played really well for us here the last few games.
Tell you a little story, maybe a little bit of back patting here. 20 years ago, I was calling games for another college. We won't mention who that was, and I came to one of the coaches, and I said, why doesn't basketball use plus-minus the way hockey does? Because they live and die by that.
Yeah.
And he said, there's just too many other it's not the same, and we won't ever work. Well, within about 5-6 years, all of a sudden, they're doing that.
Yeah, we're huge believers in it, Rick. The more we study it and the more you put certain lineups out there with certain guys and figure out who's playing well, I think it's helped us with our subbing patterns and realizing maybe who doesn't play well together, but who plays really well with other people, and trying to get those groupings together as they're out there, and then letting those guys that have the plus minus in the favorable manner on the floor. I keep going back to what you said, and him and Jaden in particular, their plus minuses have been really well, and maybe the reason why we played well the last few games.
All right, after that win, you expected to have that momentum go right into the weekend for another home game, and Saturday got postponed to Sunday, and Sunday got completely canceled out there. We're going to make that game up Monday night at home when we get back from this 2-game road trip.
Yeah, the 22nd on Monday. Be a doubleheader again with our women, 4 and 6 o'clock.
Make note of that. It'll be 4 and 6 Monday night at home against Saginaw Valley, 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and that's also a pink out game, Coach.
It is.
We're going to cancer awareness game.
Yeah, we're excited about that. My daughter actually has helped Miss Rhonda and all them in their athletic department put some cool things together for our guys with a lot of pink things going on, and just excited to be able to celebrate that day and recognize some different people on that day. A special day for a lot of people.
Bill and I will even be wearing pink when we call the game there, so maybe we'll look a little better as well. But before that, though, you've got 2 road games this week, starting out tomorrow night against a real challenging foe, Ferris State University. Well, Coach.
Well, they score the ball at a very high rate, and they shoot it really, really well. And the problem with them is it's not 1 or 2 guys. They've got 4, 5, 6 different guys that are shooting 40% from the three-point line. And like I said, man, when your team scores that rate, you just got to make sure you try to slow them down. A lot of people think it's all about your defense, and sometimes it can be about your offense. We got to make sure we have really quality possessions. We can't let them get into a rhythm because we take quick shots. We just got to make sure we play the game the way we want to play it and get the opportunities that. And so that's very important for us.
To verify that, to support that, they are number 1 scoring team in the GLIAC, 88 points a game, without having a single player in the top 10. That's unusual.
Yeah, they spread it around good. Their 4-man was at Northern Michigan, and he averaged 17, 18 for them, and he goes to their place only averaging about 12. But he's just such a vital factor in everything that they do. And then they got 3 guards that are all just crazy good three-point shooters, and they rebound the ball well. And the one thing I like about their team, Rick, man, they all seem to know their role and they play to their strengths. They really do. They don't have guys taking shots that can't shoot. And their rebounders rebound and their bigs run the floor, and they do a good job. Coach Andy's done a great job there for several years, and we've been lucky enough to go up there and beat them a couple times. Got to the national tournament, beating them at their place in the conference tournament a couple of years. But we all know going up there will be a huge challenge for us, no matter who they put out on the floor.
That should help, even though a lot of your guys weren't with you when you did that. But you do have that peace of mind, knowing, at least in the back of the mind, knowing that you have one on that floor at Ferris.
Yeah, we definitely talked about it with our guys today, and I know that our record doesn't show it, but I don't think our kids are scared really good about how we played this past week. They were really disappointed after coming off the win. We didn't get to run it back right again on Saturday, but there to be able to, we talk about it all the time. In order to be the best, you got to be able to beat those teams, and they're obviously at this point in time, they're one of the best teams in our league, and we look forward to going up there and competing with them.
The weather, obviously, other than the games, you also lost some important practice time.
Yeah,
and that was tough break for your scouts. But you had momentum going after that win.
Well, we did. I don't want to, everybody's got excuses and everybody's got problems. You got to find a way to get through all. This season started, you lose Jacques for about 8.5 weeks at this point, hadn't come back. He's such a vital part of what we do. And then you go along, and then unfortunately I got COVID. I'm away from our team for a week. And not that, heck, our team may have enjoyed that, Rick, but you just not having your head coach there for a week or 8 days was hard on them. And then, you come back, and then the Kuiper game right before break gets canceled because they have COVID. And then the other night, because of the weather, it gets knocked out. And so it's not been an ideal situation for our guys this year, but they keep having great attitudes. They've had great practices and all that stuff. The hard thing for us at this point, hopefully we got a lot out of those practices, because now we got 5 games in 10 days. You don't have a lot of time to kind of fix things. You better be ready to go as this week begins. Yeah,
you got to go back to the UP on Saturday afternoon against Lake Superior State. And we should mention, by the way, if you're tuning in on DUPanthers.com, that the men play the first game
we do
Saturday at 1 o'clock. But travel-wise, I understand you're coming back from Ferris. Is that correct?
We are. We made a decision, just traveling up there and staying all night in strange beds for a couple nights. I just thought we'd try something a little bit different. We've struggled at Lake State. It is what it is. I thought we'd just change it up a little bit this year for our guys, and so we're going to go play at Ferris on Thursday night. We'll come back. It's an hour ride. We'll come back. We'll sleep in our own beds, practice on our court on Friday, and then Friday evening after the girls get done practicing, we'll head up. We'll stay one night in the hotel. We'll get up the next morning and hopefully be ready to rock and roll playing Lake State.
All right, Coach, we're going to have Miles Ballou, one of your top players. We've talked about him already tonight, but tell us a little bit more about Miles the person, because I know you're really high on him.
Well, we've recruited Miles forever. It's fun, one of those funny things as you get into the portal and all those things. Miles was at Saginaw Valley, and we knew about him before then, and man, we'd have loved to have had him back then. He was an Ohio kid, and we'd been recruiting that part of the state for a little bit with some other kids, and we went over on 2 or 3 kids from that part of the state, but we just loved him in high school, and he goes to Saginaw and just had a tremendous career there. In a couple of years, he was a freshman of the year and first team all-conference, was the only sophomore that was first team all-conference, and so he had a great run there. He decided to give it a whirl and go in the portal and go Division I for a minute, and went there and just didn't work out the way he thought it might, and no fault of his own, no fault of the place that he went. It just wasn't a great fit. Decided he wanted to try to find another place. He came to, and again, we're selling our soul. We brought him up to visit. We were just so excited to get him on campus. He's a great player. He's got an incredible body. He's an incredible teammate. He's always saying the right things and doing the right things. And you just need more of those types of guys around your program. And so we were so fortunate. We had him, and his father came up on a visit, and we hit it off. It went really well, and he decided to come here. And even though he couldn't play last year, he's just such a pleasure to have around. He does a great job in school. He's on the dean's list, all those types of things. I mean, you just can't say enough good things about what Miles has done for our program and the campus community since he's gotten here. And it's shown now as he gets into his senior year here in his last go-around. I think the thing that I love about him is, at one point he was averaging 20-some points a game at Saginaw, and there has not been a possession, a moment this entire year where he's ever complained or asked about getting more shots or more plays for me or this or that. It's always about what can I do to help us win. And to the point where sometimes I feel bad. I need a better answer for him because you want kids like him. They deserve to win. And I was super excited, like I said, for them to win last Thursday. Man, the smiles in our locker room, it felt good for our guys to get their first conference win. Just looking forward to getting into a few more of these games and hopefully getting him as many wins as he possibly can because he deserves it.
I want to get one more question out of you before you get over to this great Uccello's food that you've got sitting on your table getting cold here, Coach.
Right.
But, you mentioned going into northeastern Ohio and you said you're trying to get a couple kids and it didn't work out for you. You weren't able to land them. How do you handle that? How do you balance that at a point? Do you reach a point sometimes in some areas you go say, you know what, we've tried there, we're not doing it? Or do you say, nope, we're going to continue to plug away no matter where they are?
Yeah, I don't think in our situation we can ever write those teams off. I think the cool thing about recruiting, Rick, it's awesome when you get kids, but the really cool part is building the relationships with the coaches and the athletic directors and the parents and just building it up to where hopefully in a few years those people will feel so good about the relationships you built that maybe they'll call you about other kids. And so you're not going to get everyone. I asked 100 people to prom and finally got one to tell that would go with me, you know what I mean? And so, we know we're not going to get every kid. We just want to do the best we possibly can, whether it's in New York or Ohio or Michigan or the Czech Republic, wherever it's at. We just want to make sure we do the best we possibly can and make sure that everybody feels really good about that Davenport team and school and the coaches that came in their door, so that in hopes and time, if you don't get that one, you may get one down the line.
Head coach Bert Paddock, again, the men play tomorrow at 7:30. We'll have the broadcast on dupanthers.com, the audio. If you watch the video, you won't hear us, and you want to hear Bill and I know that already. The women will play at 5:30. Dave Van Nord will have the broadcast of that game. So we'll take a break, come back, and Miles Ballou, who we discussed at length here today, will join us as the DU Panthers Coaches Show comes rolling on from Uccello's in Caledonia. Stay with us. And we continue with the DU Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Anytime you get a chance, stop out here. This is a great place for food, fun, beverages, all you want. A zillion big screen TVs and about 7 or 8 super big screen TVs. It's always going on here. Great service, great food. Stop out there. Before we get to Miles Ballou here, we wanted to catch you up on the updated schedule because there have been some changes. We mentioned we lost that game to Kuiper back in December because they had a COVID issue. And so that's going to be make up on January 30th at our place. January 30th at 7 o'clock. Again, Thursday night at Ferris State. We play there again at 7:30, women at 5:30. And then Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock up in Sault Ste. Marie against Lake Superior State. And again, the men will play in the first game Saturday at 1 o'clock. So make sure you note that. 1 o'clock for the men, 3 o'clock for the women. Then we come back home again January 22nd. That's Monday night. This Monday night, the makeup game that we lost this weekend to weather, that will be against Saginaw Valley at 6 p.m. for the men. Women will play at 4. 4 and 6 are an unusual weekday time for us. The doubleheader against Saginaw Valley this Monday night, the 22nd. Then we'll stay home Thursday night against Parkside with our normal times. Wisconsin Parkside comes in, the women at 5:30, the men at 7:30. All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll continue to roll on with the DU Coaches Show in just a minute. So stay with us, back hopefully with Miles after that.